A new shipment of Bayraktar TB2 combat drones from Turkey has been put into service to boost the Ukrainian war efforts against the Russian invasion, according to an announcement from Ukrainian Defense Minister Oleksiy Reznikov. New Bayraktars have already arrived in Ukraine and have been put into service. More Stingers and Javelins are to come from various countries, Reznikov wrote on his Facebook page, referencing FIM-92 Stinger man-portable air defense systems and FGM-148 Javelin anti-tank missiles. It was not clear from Reznikov's statement whether the Turkish combat drones arrived in Ukraine before or after the invasion. Ankara has set out to try and maintain good relations with both Moscow and Kyiv despite the war, but a Rotem hub reported on March 2nd that numerous Turkish Air Force Airbus A400 flights between Ankara and Izzo in southern Poland were conducted between February 25th and 27th. It is conceivable that the drones were delivered to Poland on these flights before being shipped over the Ukrainian.
Halo, perkenalkan, nama gue Egy Mulhan dari channel Egy Mulhan. Gue adalah seorang streamer yang live di
border. Reznikov did not provide any details on the number or the exact variant of the drones made by Turkish company Bayraktar that were shipped. Since 2019 and prior to the latest delivery, Ukraine appears to have acquired at least 20 Bayraktars from Turkey. They have been put into use by both the Ukrainian Air Force and Navy. In October last year, Ukraine announced the first combat use of the type, drawing Moscow's ire. Russia has claimed to have shot down several Bayraktar drones since the war began. But a February 26th report in Middle East Time old how Ukrainian officials have said the drones have notched up several battlefield successes, striking Russian military convoys and forces. A February 28th article published by me explained how the drones were proving successful despite the Russian army apparently boasting sophisticated electronic warfare capabilities and state-of-the-art air defense systems. Separately, Turkey said on March 2nd that Russia, at Ankara's request, withdrew a bid to send 4 warships through its waters into the Black Sea. NATO member Turkey on February 28th said that after defining the conflict in Ukraine as war, it closed the Dardanelles and Bosporus Straits to foreign warships. However, under the 1936 Use Convention that regulates access to the waters, vessels that are returning to their registered military bases can be allowed through to the Black Sea. 3 of the 4 warships that Russia wanted to send through the straits were not registered to Black Sea bases, according to Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu. Turkish military drones operated by Ukraine's armed forces are notching some impressive victories over Russia's military as the war enters its 3rd day. As Kyiv and other Ukrainian cities come under fire from Russian airstrikes, the drones are operating to slow down their advance as much as possible. On Saturday, Ukraine's embassy in Turkey posted a video that showed what it said was the aftermath of a drone strike on a Russian military convoy in Kherson, where forces entered from the Russia-occupied Crimea Peninsula. The footage shows a line of burnt-out vehicles with debris strewn about after it came under fire from Turkish-made TB2 armed drones used by Ukraine's Air Force. Later that day, Ukraine's Ministry of Defense posted the second video that said TB2s rained fire down on Russian paratroopers near Hostomel Airport, a critical cargo airport near Kyiv. Further away, Ukraine's Air Force said that the TB2 was used to destroy an entire fuel train that was attempting to resupply Russian forces operating in the field. Ukraine's use of the TB2 has been a source of pride for its armed forces, but also a poster child of the strong defense ties that define its relationship with Turkey. Ukraine first acquired an initial batch of 6 Bayraktar TB2 drones for $69 million in 2019. This deal was concluded under then-President Petro Poroshenko, but Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky's administration has purchased more of them for a pre-war fleet of approximately 20 TB2s for Ukraine's Navy and Air Force. The TB2 has become a symbol of Turkey's might as a drone power after turning the tide of war in Libya and on behalf of Azerbaijan and Nagorno-Karabakh in 2020. Turkish-operated TB2s also blundered a Russian-backed offensive by Syrian government forces in rebel-occupied Idlib after an alleged Russian airstrike left 34 Turkish soldiers dead. In each of these theaters, the TB2 overcame Soviet-era equipment operated by Russia's allies and manned by less well-trained personnel. With these initial successes in Ukrainian service, the TB2 has notched ever more victories against a modern military force with sophisticated anti-aircraft and electronic warfare capabilities. Russia has been vigorous in its condemnation of Turkey's sale of combat drones to Ukraine's military. In April 2021, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov warned Ankara to cease supplying weapons to Kyiv and encouraging militaristic sentiments. Later that year, Ukraine deployed the TB2 for the first time in combat by destroying a separatist artillery piece on October 26th. Again, Russia criticized Turkey for destabilizing the situation in eastern Ukraine by supplying Ukraine. As Western warnings mounted that Russia would invade Ukraine, Russia's President Vladimir Putin himself brought up Ukraine's possession of the TB2 in a call with Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, a sign of the irritation felt in Moscow. But the war remains young, and the TB2 is unlikely to be able to dramatically turn the tide against Russia. The Russian Ministry of Defense has not yet acknowledged the extent of its losses in terms of equipment and manpower, but Ukraine's government and independent analysts have claimed that hundreds of vehicles have been destroyed on the Russian side and up to 3,000 soldiers were killed. However, Western officials have said Russia has yet to commit more than half of its assembled armed forces near Ukraine to combat, and it has relied heavily on air and missile strikes on Ukrainian positions and cities with the support of highly mobile infantry units. Ukraine has not been without its losses either. A complete casualty figure is not yet available, but the Ukrainian Health Ministry says that about 198 Ukrainians have been killed in the last 36 hours. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, its forces also destroyed 4 TB2s since the fighting began, which if true would mean 20% of its armed fleet is gone. These losses are not easily replaceable for Ukraine at this stage. During Erdogan's last visit to Kyiv on February 3rd, it was announced that a factory would be developed to jointly produce TB2s. But with the beginning of the war, it may be unlikely that more drones will be constructed in time for combat or delivered from Turkey. Turkey has strived to maintain its neutrality even as it has condemned Russia's invasion of Ukraine and maintained its support for Ukrainian sovereignty. Zelensky has pushed Erdogan to close the Black Sea to Russian warships, but Turkish officials have yet to commit to doing so. The Turkish government has also declined to participate in any sanction regime against Russia, though Erdogan has lambasted us and European diplomatic efforts as ineffective at helping Ukraine. Compared to its Western partners, though, Turkey is uniquely vulnerable to Russian pressure, be it through renewed hostilities in Syria, or economic sanctions at a time when Moscow remains the largest supplier of energy to Turkey.
Okay, everybody, we have a huge show for you today. First up, Bolt CEO Ryan Breslau is back in the news again. Today, he's talking about stock options, which we'll break down the arguments on both sides.
Then we're going to briefly cover, there are so many, by the way,